Most people know Dr. Seuss for this.
After all, a person's a person, no matter how small.
But he also wrote this.
Are problems in the brain inside of the Japanese head.
And this. And drew this, a work in which customers buy wrenches, needles, and black men to use as firewood. This video is about the intentionally hidden works of Dr. Seuss. For it, we read his 6 cancelled kids' books, watched his 27 propaganda shorts, his US Army training films,
These are the most dangerous. German youth.
and his adult cartoons, which are darker still. So see for yourself and let's turn loose the censored works of Dr. Seuss.
Hello, Ma. I got a secret. I can only drop a tip. Don't breathe a word to no one, but I'm going on a trip.
In 2021, after 6 Seuss books were criticised for being hurtful and wrong, Dr. Seuss Enterprises discontinued them.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not.
This is what's in those books. The first book follows a boy as he imagines creatures on the way home from school. It contains a suggestion that girls aren't as creative as boys.
Say, even Jane could think of that.
And a character you wouldn't find today.
A Chinese man who eats with sticks.
McElligot's Pool, the second cancelled book, is about Marco, who rejects adult warnings that he won't find any fish.
'Cause you never can tell what goes on down below. This pool might be bigger than you or I know.
Marco dreams up Mexican fish, Eskimo fish, Australian fish, Tibetan fish, female fish, and catching whales, which in 1947 wasn't as publicly despised. The next book is similar, except our hero, Gerald McGrew, imagines building the world's greatest zoo.
If you want to catch beasts you don't see every day, you have to go places quite out of the way.
He snags mazurkas in Yertle with African helpers, gaskets in Nantasket with Persian helpers, Paluskis with Russian helpers, and bustards and flustards with Asian helpers.
I'll hunt in the mountains of Zamba Matant with helpers who all wear their eyes at a slant.
The words fat and queer appear too, and a chieftain with his bird gets thrown in the zoo. We get a new kid in Scrambled Egg Super, a wannabe egg chef called Peter T. Hooper. He has Eskimo servants, Arab ones too, and does quite a bit of breaking things, which contrasts with the anti-logging ideas from Seuss's later work.
They say I'm old-fashioned and live in the past, but sometimes I think progress progresses too fast.
The Cat's Quizzer, Seuss's last banned book, answers important life questions, such as how old do you have to be a Japanese? Can only redheads wiggle their ears? Do the Japanese eat with pogo sticks or joss sticks? Are there many women kings? And would you rather have more questions, or would you rather have the mumps? The answers are honest, but there's one that Seuss got wrong. If only he'd seen the latest historical epic from Sony Pictures. When the war came, it gave Dr. Seuss a conundrum.
Even if I wanted to go, my schedule wouldn't allow it.
He felt an urgent need to serve, but knew that he was more valuable to the US as an artist, and Uncle Sam agreed.
I need a smart fellow to make all the sounds, who can bark like a dog and bay like the hounds.
As commander of the animation department of the 1st Motion Picture Unit, Dr. Seuss wrote 29 films, of which 27 were snafu films. Not those snafu films. These snafu films.
Snafu. Situation normal. All fouled up.
And she's always a lady, even in pantomime, and she stops, and always just in time.
If Snafu's voice sounds familiar, this is probably why.
Hey, here's yours, Bowlegs. Here, one for you, Monkey Face. Don't shove, there's plenty for all. Here, Slant Eyes.
Like Seuss's cartoons, his snafu films were preoccupied with Nazis.
Stick him up or I'll blow your brains out.
Cautionary tales for US Army recruits.
Though, like all
careless gents, he finds a behind fence.
In Censored, Snafu betrays the army's information censor. The Japanese intercept his intel and lure him to a war island.
Boy, oh boy! We caught them with their pants down.
Other Snafu films warned Americans not to freeload and bury their heads in the sand, or gold brick.
Here rise there go brick, I now go find more. Ye find enough gold brick, Japan could win war.
Generally, the Japanese characters are either malevolent, stupid, or unintelligible. It was the same in Seuss's 400-plus wartime cartoons, many of which sowed distrust towards Japanese Americans. This one shows them being handed TNT in anticipation of a signal from home. And this one shows an Asian American kid trying to buy explosives from Uncle Sam. When readers criticized Seuss's support for Japanese internment camps and accused him of grotesque incitement to hatred, Seuss responded. "If we want to win," he wrote, "we've got to kill we can get palsy-walsy afterward with those that are left." Other Seuss cartoons pushed US bonds, encouraging Americans to lend the government 10% of their income, leveraging righteousness, fear, pride, and social responsibility. The cartoons were government supported, but some of the Snafu films, including one called Going Home, were censored.
Sweep, just sweep it all away.
Going Home was censored because of a bazooka that Snafu describes.
A new flying bazooka with radar control.
The army found the bazooka too close to Little Boy and Fat Man, the bombs being made to drop on Hiroshima and Nagasaki the following year.
What hit you, Tojo? Wouldn't you like to know?
While Seuss celebrated the early attacks on Japan, he made no cartoons after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He did, however, write 2 documentaries. Our Job in Japan was for American troops in the 1945 Allied occupation of Japan.
Are problems in the brain inside of the Japanese head. There are 70 million of these in Japan. Physically no different than any other brains in the world. Actually, all made of exactly the same stuff as ours.
The film aimed to neutralize 2 things. First, Japanese ideas.
These brains, like our brains, can do good things or bad things, all depending on the kind of ideas that are put inside.
And second, Japanese war industries.
There'll be no more Japanese war factories, no more Japanese warships, no more Japanese warplanes.
While America brings the truth.
When they've read enough truth, when they've heard enough truth, when they've had enough first-hand experience with the truth, they'll be able to lead their own lives.
While they're different, you can feel the style of these films overlapping with Seuss's kids' work.
We're the true Starbellies. We had them first. We're still the best sneetches, and they're still the worst. Yeah!
Your Job in Germany was the German equivalent of Our Job in Japan.
Somewhere in this Germany are stormtroopers by the thousands. Out of sight, part of the mob, but still watching you and hating you.
The film encouraged vigilance.
Be alert, suspicious of everyone. Take no chances. You are up against something more than tourist scenery. You are up against German history. It isn't good.
After the war, Seuss left movies, but he continued his darker work. As evidenced by his self-portraits, the cat behind the hat has a history. But today, he'll be remembered for what he did best.
And one last question, Dr. Seuss. Do you like writing stories for children?
Oh, I'd rather do that than anything I know.